The station drifted through the velvet dark like a city that never slept. Outpost Vesper Relay 13 did not roar or rumble. It sang. Layers of alien life stitched the air with chirps, bell tones, throat clicks, and ultrasonic pulses. It sounds that made human teeth ache if you listened too long. MARA QUINN had stopped noticing years ago. 3 years as the only human on Vesper. 3 years as the small body specialist the station relied on. The alien engineers were brilliant. But their tools and suits were built for bodies with carapaces, extra joints, or armored torsos. Vents, junction boxes, coolant crawls. Anything tight and inconvenient became human work. Her quarters were a narrow wedge behind the thermal exchangers. Across from the algae filters, the administrators offered her something nicer near the observation rings. MARA QUINN declined. Nicer meant neighbors. Neighbors meant questions. Questions meant loneliness you had to perform your way through. Tonight, she staggered into her unit like she had been poured out of her own boots. 12 hours in the underdeck conduits, patching microfractures in a line that carried heated coolant to the greenhouse modules. Her shoulders throbbed. Her coverall smelled like metal and antiseptic foam. A faint burn still tingled on her forearm where a sealant nozzle had spat back. Her stomach growled. Low, vicious, almost offended. The dispensers could print nutrient paste in 1,000 flavors, but they never tasted like anything that mattered. All complete sustenance. All perfectly measured. No soul, no memory, no warmth in the chest. MARA QUINN opened a sealed storage box under her bunk like it was a treasure chest. Inside was harmless contraband. Real ingredients she collected over months of supply rotations and careful trades. A jar of smoked paprika, a tiny tin of black pepper, a palm-sized block of real butter, vacuum-packed like a jewel, and the prize. A handful of dried yeast. A bag of flour the quartermaster called obsolete. No species on Vesper baked bread? MARA QUINN did. She set a compact heating plate on her fold-out counter. She wiped it down twice. Ritual style. She warmed a small pan. Butter went in first, melting into a golden lake. Paprika followed, blooming red. She did not use garlic. Too rare, too risky. She used shallot flakes, rehydrated and thinly sliced. They hit the butter and hissed, a sound that made a human brain relax without asking permission. Her mouth watered instantly. She stirred slowly, letting the smell rise. She added a pinch of pepper, a dusting of salt. Then she poured in a splash of broth from the galley. Something neutral enough to be safe for most species. The sauce thickened into a silky, smoky glaze. On the other burner, dough she proofed earlier waited under a cloth. She punched it down with tired hands, then shaped it into small rounds. Flatbreads, quick and forgiving. She laid them on the hot surface. The first one puffed slightly, blistering in spots. The aroma expanded into the room like a hug. MARA QUINN exhaled, her eyes half closed. For a moment, she was not on Vesper. She was back on Earth, on a rainy street, inside a small bakery where someone always knew her order. She did not notice the door's sensor blink. She did not notice the faint shadow at the threshold. The first hint was a soft scraping sound, like claws politely clearing a throat. MARA QUINN turned with a spatula in her hand. 3 figures stood in her doorway. They were small, child-sized for most species, thin-limbed, wrapped in shimmering down. Their faces were narrow, their eyes huge and reflective, tiny fangs that looked more earnest than threatening. Her memory supplied the station records. Siveran juveniles, refugees, new arrivals. Their home moon had been evacuated after a chemical winter. Vesper was temporary shelter. Temporary could last a lifetime. The 3 Siveran cubs stared at her pan like they were staring at the sun. Then, very slowly, the middle one stepped forward. In both hands, he held a bowl. Not a station bowl. A handmade bowl pressed from dried plant fiber and sealed with resin. Decorated with careful scratches that looked like constellations, The other two lifted their bowls too, as if they rehearsed the motion. MARA QUINN felt her throat tighten. The middle cub swallowed. His translator patch crackled as it formed his trills into universal standard. "Human MARA QUINN," he said. Smell came. "We follow." He hesitated, eyes shining. Then he pushed the bowl forward, arms shaking from bravery. "Please." MARA QUINN stared at the bowls, then at their faces. Their pupils were huge. Their hands clutched the rims like lifelines. They stood close together, shoulders touching. Her instinct was immediate. Danger, alien biology, allergens, toxins, a spice harmless to humans, could be lethal to someone else. She kept her voice gentle. "I do not know if you can eat this. Human food is not always safe." The smallest cub's down dimmed. Bright silver to dull gray, the tallest cub's ears drooped. The middle one took a careful breath. "We ate warm food before," he said. "Before sky became poison. Before cold, Grand Elder made hot bread. Made smell like safe place." He lifted the bowl again. A fraction higher. "Dispenser food is quiet. No smell. No home." That word hit MARA QUINN like gravity. Home, not hungry. Not greedy. Homesick. MARA QUINN glanced at her counter. The flatbreads were meant for one. The sauce was meant for one. The butter was not meant to be shared. But the bowls told her everything. This moment cost them something. She reached for her wrist tablet with her free hand. She pulled up Sivrin dietary protocols. Posted during intake, safe grains. Yes. Safe fats. Most, yes. Paprika, family alkaloids. Mild risk, but not toxic at her dose. Pepper. Acceptable. Broth base. Station standard? Regulated. She could do it. MARA QUINN decided before her fear finished speaking. "Okay," she said. "Come in. Sit wherever you fit." They did not walk. They scrambled in, quick and silent. They perched on the edge of her sleeping platform, bowls in their laps like sacred objects. MARA QUINN flipped the last flatbread, then started dividing. 1 became 2. 2 became 4. She cut them into smaller pieces so it looked like more. She spooned the smoky butter sauce carefully. Spread thin across each portion, she added a tiny crumble of dried herb from her stash. As if it was casual. It was not casual. She set each bowl down in front of them. "Hot," she warned. She blew across the food. "You blow first." The cubs copied her. 3 sets of small breaths rippled across warm bread. The middle one's name tag pinged in her mind. Tavi took the first bite. His down flared. Not metaphorically. It shimmered from pale silver into wild color. Gold into green, into deep ocean blue. Like a living aurora under his skin. Tavi froze. His eyes went wet. Then he made a sound that was not a word. A tiny broken laugh. The other 2 dove in. The room filled with soft chittering. The gentle clack of bowl edges. The comfortable sounds of eating. MARA QUINN took her own bite. The bread was good. Crisp edges. Soft middle. Butter and smoke and warmth. But the real taste came from watching them. 3 alien children eating like they were rebuilding something inside themselves. Between bites, MARA QUINN nodded at Tavi. "Your Grand Elder?" she asked softly. "What did they make on your moon?" Tavi swallowed. His translator worked hard. "Warm rounds," he said. He traced a circle in the air. "With seed dust, with sweet sap," Grand Elder sang. His down shimmered gold again. "Sang to make fear go away." MARA QUINN felt her eyes sting. "Yeah," she whispered. "Food does that." They ate until the bowls were clean. The cubs licked the rims with neat little tongues, then hugged the bowls to their chests, as if warmth might vanish if they set it down. Tavi stood. He straightened with sudden seriousness. "Thank you, human MARA QUINN," he said formally. "Not just food. You made memory. You made before time." His down settled into deep, calm blue. "Peace. The other two bowed clumsily. Bowls clutched like offerings. They backed toward the door, as if leaving too fast might break the spell. When they were gone, MARA QUINN sat in the quiet hum of Vesper Relay 13. Her stomach was still half empty. Her chest felt full enough to burst. Then her tablet pinged. A station-wide message thread in the common channel. Spreading fast? Did the human cook? I smelled warm spices near thermal exchangers. My juvenile wants to know if bowls are required. Is it true? Human food tastes like celebration? Can we trade? We have sweet fungus. We have fruit gel. MARA QUINN stared at the flood of messages. A tidal wave made of need. She looked at her tiny stash. She did quick mental math. She could say no. She could protect her peace. Her hoard? Her isolation. Instead, she smiled. Small at first, then real. She opened a new request form to the quartermaster. Bulk flour, dried yeast, butter if possible, herbs. Anything Earth standard. The system asked for justification. MARA QUINN typed without thinking. Morale, integration, refugee support, cultural exchange. All true. Then she added one more line. Honest enough to hurt, because they deserve something warm. She hit send. Tomorrow, she would cook for 10. Next week, maybe 30. Maybe she would teach them how to knead dough with whatever hands they had. Maybe the station would learn that human maintenance was not just crawling into vents. Maybe it was fixing the parts of people no one could see. Later that night, there was a soft scraping at her door again. MARA QUINN opened it. Tavi stood there, bowl in hand, down glowing a hopeful amber. Behind him, more small shadows waited, quiet, patient, brave. MARA QUINN stepped aside. Come in, she said. We will make it together. If this story made you smile, subscribe to Neon Cub Tales right now.